Dolly, The Story of Dolly Parton and Her Big Dream, written by Robyn McGrath, illustrated by Ellen Surrey. Here we go. Okay. Deep in a holler of the Great Smoky Mountains, Dolly stood on her front porch ready to perform. She had a microphone for singing and a guitar for strumming. In her mind, she was all sparkles and rhinestones. As the fourth of 12 children, Dolly was determined to be seen and heard. She wrangled her siblings into being her audience, and they wouldn't. The chickens, pigs, and ducks would have to do. From the get-go, Dolly linked up rhyming words and simple tunes to show her feelings. She tapped a rhythm when Mama snapped the beans. She clapped a beat when the geese honked overhead. And when she was just 5 years old, she composed her first song about her handsome corncob doll, Tiny Tasseltop. Dolly sang at home and in church. With her grandpa as the local preacher, she belted out songs of praise and faith for the congregation. Words flowed from Dolly's heart loud and strong. Each Saturday, Dolly's family crowded around their battery-operated radio. As Dolly listened to the Grand Ole Opry, her heartbeat quickened. She held her breath on each note, and she felt the lyrics of joy and pain. Dolly began to imitate the country greats whose voices crooned into her living room. Kitty Wells, Patsy Cline, and Johnny Cash. She dreamed of herself on stage at the Opry, toe-tapping, knee-slapping, belting out country tunes. But people said, "You're just a kid and too young for the Opry." Dolly stood tall. She believed she had something to say. Living on a farm meant work for young Dolly. She hoed corn and planted pumpkins, beans, and turnips with her family. But Dolly preferred to be back at the house writing songs, singing songs, and most important, dreaming. When the Parton family had time to sit a spell, they played some Appalachian porch-picking music. Guitars, banjos, and fiddles filled the holler with twangs of love, loss, and longing. Dolly would pick a little and play a lot. She slapped the tambourine, plucked the banjo, and pounded the piano, watching and learning from each member of her family. It was Uncle Bill, on her mama's side, who began to take notice of Dolly's musical talent. When Dolly received her first guitar, she learned some chords, and everyone saw how quick she made a lick of it. Her music had cadence, harmony, and tempo, and that voice, sweet, soulful, and something fierce. At school, some kids picked on Dolly for being poor. They laughed and mocked the clothes her mama had sewn from scraps. But Dolly wiped away the tears. They couldn't stop her from dreaming. She turned her hurt feelings into lyrics and found a melody to match. On winter nights, huddled by the warmth of the fire, Mama sang songs and told stories of worlds far away. Each note carried Dolly from her mountain home to Nashville. Each note added kindling to her own growing flame. Uncle Bill helped Dolly approach local millionaire Kaz Walker, who broadcast a weekly variety show. Her confidence and wide smile earned Dolly a radio and television gig. With butterflies in her belly, she took the stage. Hesitant at first, she sang higher and higher with pure joy and fell in love with the live audience. Soon after, Dolly and her uncle started making trips to Nashville, determined to get her a guest spot at the Opry. They knocked on doors, sent recordings to record companies, and approached people who had musical connections. But time and time again she was told, "You're just a kid," and "too young for the Opry." Dolly wouldn't take no for an answer. She and her uncle spent countless nights sleeping in the car with little gas money to make the long trips back home. Dolly would pluck a tune on her guitar or drum a rhythm on the dashboard. Stories and verse flowed from her lips, songs of home, family, love, and dreams. Finally, Dolly's persistence paid off. One night, another singer agreed to let Dolly go on stage in his place at the Grand Ole Opry. Dolly's dream had led her here, to this moment, to this stage, and she was just a kid. When it was time, Johnny Cash introduced Dolly. "We've got a little girl here from up in East Tennessee. Her daddy's listening to the radio at home, and she's going to be in real trouble if she doesn't sing tonight. So let's bring her out here." Dolly walked to the mic in a daze. She lifted her head to the light, smiled bright, and let her rip. She sang for everyone who had ever believed in her, and Dolly's deep feelings sparkled a connection. The audience felt her energy, her emotion. There were 3 encores that night. 3. Everyone wanted to hear more of Dolly. Dolly stoked the fire, put pen to paper, and continued to write her stories into songs. The day after high school graduation, Dolly headed straight to Nashville. She struggled to get a job, pay rent, and eat. But Dolly continued to write and sing and write. Then Dolly earned a coveted spot on the Porter Wagoner Show, a popular weekly television program. She wowed fans with her humor and vocals, and her songs flew to the top of the charts. Dolly lifted people with her voice, transporting them to the Great Smoky Mountains, to her roots, and to her family. With nails, hair, heels, sparkles, and that voice, always that voice, she no longer had to wrangle an audience. Dolly, finally seen and heard as the artist she was, had a real microphone for singing, a plethora of instruments for playing, and no shortage of rhinestones. And above all else, Dolly remained true to herself and her dreams, letting her songs guide us home. All right, the end. And that was Dolly, the story of Dolly Parton and her big dream, written by Robyn McGrath, illustrated by Ellen Surrey. And that's all for today. Bye.